Hi, everybody. Holly and Liz and I put together a short PowerPoint on some of the things we wanted to talk to you about at the trainings. We're having difficulty with scheduling it, so we plan on sending you the information this way and then meeting with you on Zoom later on. So I wanted to start off by saying, well, Happy New Year to everybody. I haven't seen you all and I miss you. I miss our conversations. Anyway, I wanted to start off by sharing how I share quotes with students. I like to share quotes from people that I really respect and research that is just amazing to me, because I figure if I like it, they're going to really like it. So, you know, Dr. Bruce Perry is one of the first neuroscientists, maybe the first psychiatrist, neuroscientist who I have heard of that contributes to our understanding of child development and trauma and how that affects the brain, right? He talks about brain development so our students can understand it. And that's what I appreciate about him. I feel like he knows how to connect with people, and he's just amazing. So I just wanted to share with you how I use quotes in my courses. This is a short information items of what we will be covering today. So the part I'm going to go over is about the child development pathways and the different certificates and the different programs that we offer students. And I'll start off at the beginning. So we had an organization called the Farm Workers Institute of Education and Leadership Development. And they are a nonprofit organization, and they have early childhood centers all up and down California. And the person that runs that has heard about our program and reached out to us and said, you know what, I have teachers, I have assistant teachers, I have people that work at my center, but they need their units. They need to get their permit. So we are going to offer certificates at different levels for these people, and then for anybody else. We've had Head Starts that have reached out to us before to offer these to their students, or their workers, I'm sorry. And then oftentimes we will go to their site, to their Head Start site, and carry out the program for their educators. And we deliver our program at their site. So this is our basic bachelor's degree in child development, right? We have our core classes, which you teach some of them. It comes to 40 units. And then our students choose one concentration. So they all have to take these 4 classes, and then they choose one concentration. These are our 3 different concentrations that we offer in the undergraduate sector. They can choose between development and pedagogy, and you can see the focus is on teaching math, language to young children, and then how to work with children in special ed. Concentration in theater is another concentration, and then kinesiology. And we have students that choose all different concentrations, a variety. Currently, we have applied for a PK3 credential. Our application is at the state level, and we're hoping it gets passed soon. We would like to start our PK3 credential program in the fall of this year. So again, our students will take our 40 core units, our 10 courses, in their senior year, they will take their PK3 credential courses. So in 4 years, they will be able to earn their bachelor's degree and a PK3 credential. I think that's going to be really an amazing opportunity for a lot of people. So once we have our PK3 credential approved by the CCTC, we will look at, or we will be prepared to offer this credential also to multiple subject teaching credential holders. So teachers that are already teaching have been approved that hold a multiple subject teaching credential in the state of California, they can also earn a PK3 credential, right? They will be issued that credential with the term of preliminary or clear based upon an alignment within their existing multiple subject credential. And then when students are interested in that, we will be able to advise them on the different qualifications and what they need to meet that. Our last pathway is a pathway to a master's degree in child and adolescent development. And this is the one that we offer at the University of La Verne. It's going to be a 4-year program again, so where students can get their bachelor's degree in 3 years, and they will take their master courses in child and adolescent development in their 4th year. So we're really trying to open our doors and make our program more accessible for more people. And I'm going to turn this over to either Holly or Liz, and they're going to share some topics with you. Hi everybody, this is Cindy again. These are 2 topics that we were going to work on and talk about, but we're going to ask you to do it in a little different way. One is open educational resources, and the next is about the shared books. So I'll talk a little bit about those. Our program decided to go to open educational resources just because there's so many benefits for the students, but also for the students. I feel like, obviously it's a cost savings for student, right? They don't have to pay for textbooks, which is what led us into these 2 books. And I'll go over that in a minute. OER also gives them, more accessibility to materials. They're online for them. They can read them at any time. They don't have to buy these expensive books. My decision for us to go to OER is because our textbooks don't include a diverse pool of researchers or theorists. So I think it's important for us as educators to find materials that we can present to our students that represent diversity and represent people, right? I was teaching a class and I was talking about setting up your classroom environments and how you should have photos of 2 mommy families or 2 daddies, and I had a student gasp. And I was a little taken back that the student gasped. And it made me realize, we need to talk about these things. Our young children need to be exposed to diversity. We need to celebrate it. And we just need to talk about it and what everybody brings to the table. I think it's so important. So in the very last class that I teach is our research class. We are going to start researching diverse individuals and what they have brought to the field of early childhood education. I think it's going to be really exciting. And that's where the shared books came along. Also, in that class, it's the very last class students take, they have to write a reflection on each of our program learning outcomes. When they're writing those reflections, we'd like them to cite a theorist. We'd like them to tie it in to developmentally appropriate practices, and make that critical thinking leap, by tying in those topics. And they have not been able to do that lately. So that's why we thought, you know what, we need to keep developmentally appropriate practices in our program, obviously, because all of you know the importance of it. NAUIC has provided this document to us to provide just high quality, effective, nurturing education that supports holistic development of young children, right? And you all know that because you're in the field. So what we would like you to do is to take some time, look through developmentally appropriate practices, look through the other book, and if you could write down the classes you teach, and then what chapters or principles from shared learning that you would like to cover in your course. And then I think what we'll do is the course specialists of your course, we will meet with you in smaller groups and, talk about it. This way we can scaffold the books. We can make sure we are all addressing certain points in our program, in our courses that we value, that we feel are really important. And I think these two books cover that. And another thing about OER is, we're just starting to use it this year. So while you are using it and experiencing it, jot down notes, say, I really didn't like this article and I really appreciated this one because of this. If you have time and something stands out, because what we plan on doing next year is really looking at the quality of our OER materials and assessing those. So that'll be something fun we get to do next year. So in the meantime, if you want to take notes, please do so. If you have something you want to share, an article in your class, share it with your course specialist, or you can post it on Child Development Central. So I hope this is helping, and I hope to see you all soon.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to be going over Child Development Central with you all, and I'm also going to talk about University of Laverne's Makerspace, which is located in the Wilson Library. So first, I'm going to show you Child Development Central. Some of you may already be familiar with this, but since we've moved from Blackboard to D2L Brightspace, no one was on Child Development Central on D2L. So you should all have access to it now. It should be under your main courses. I'm going to view this as a participant, as you would see it. So this is Child Development Central. It's kind of the central hub where we house information about all of our courses. You can find syllabi here. I prefer to go up here to content just because it kind of gives you a list, itemized list of what's available. So I'm still working on cleaning it up. However, you will find under content all of the different folders that we have. You should be able to find the course that you teach, and you will have hopefully some resources in there for you if need be. Some courses have PowerPoints in them. Some courses have, you'll find maybe the textbook, you'll find the syllabus. So yeah, this course has a lot, 354. It has PowerPoints, it has all of the necessary paperwork that the students need because this is a fieldwork course. But anyway, so this is what you'll find here on Child Development Central. We have our Child Development Program Handbook. So key assessments, information on the PLO assessments, some anti-bias resources. Again, I'm still working on cleaning it up and we're still adding material to it. But again, if you wanted to browse around, you just go to your homepage, go to all courses. You should see it right there pop up with your courses. So that's Child Development Central. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, or Holly or Cindy, but I'm kind of in charge of cleaning it up and adding to it. So if you have stuff you want to add to it, or questions about Child Development Central, please let me know. I'm going to stop share here so that I can effectively share Makerspace, because I know sometimes if I just switch tabs, you won't see it on your end. So I want to make sure that you can see it. Okay, let me put it up here. Okay. So we were supposed to go on a tour of Makerspace if we had this training in person. So sad. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I'm going to kind of just give you a brief overview of Makerspace. So this is again located in the Wilson Library at University of La Verne. They have really cool like resources and materials for either you to use as the instructor or for your students to utilize. They have 3D printing, virtual reality. They have tons of materials for arts and crafts. You can kind of get an idea of what is available here. They have laser cutting. How cute little bows are. They have so you, if you were interested in taking a tour, that you can reach out to, I should email you the information, or maybe you'll see it here. It's Amy or Sabrina. You can email this email right here, makerspace@laverne.edu. You will receive an email back if you wanted to set up a tour for yourself to see it in person. But there's just really cool materials, really awesome ways to utilize Makerspace, which I will. So again, this is their website. You can just type in University of La Verne Makerspace and it'll take you there. I will show you, because we have some ideas of how you can utilize Makerspace as an instructor. Let me get, there it is. Let me get that slide open. So I'm gonna share this slide with you just to give you some ideas of how you can utilize the Makerspace. So there, depending on what course you teach, you can practice implementing developmentally appropriate practices through hands-on engagement. Okay, observation and documentation boards. I think this could be a really great resource, the Makerspace, if your students need to create documentation boards. I know in 354, that's kind of a new assignment where the students are going to observe children and then create documentation boards based on their observations. And I think the Makerspace could provide some great materials for them to make these amazing documentation boards. You can practice creating learning centers or play scenarios with the materials in Makerspace and experiment with different materials and activities to understand how they impact child development. So thinking about what you teach in your courses, maybe the assignments that you have. I know in 451, the infant toddler course, the final is the students creating an environment for an infant toddler environment. And it's like a 3D environment. And I think that utilizing Makerspace could be so beneficial for helping them with their 3D infant toddler space. So just thinking about what you teach, the assignments you have, maybe ways you can incorporate like hands-on learning in your classes. The Makerspace could be really, really a really awesome tool. And so I think we'll send you the slides. This is the website here that I just took you to. You'll be able to click right on it. It'll take you there. Otherwise, you could just Google University of La Verne Makerspace. It'll take you right there. Yeah. And then Child Development Central, you should all have access to it now on D2L. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. If you have things you want to share, please send them over, whether it's, PowerPoints or updated syllabi for your courses. Yeah. And again, you can email me with any questions that you have regarding Child Development Central or Makerspace. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And hopefully we will chat soon.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say hi. Now I'm going to remove my camera and cover the rest of my slides. Okay, let's cover some general information. So a reminder that if you're adding other faculty to your courses in D2L, instead of doing a ticket like we used to do for Blackboard, you now just need to email help@laverne.edu and request that the other instructor be added to your course as a faculty TA. They can't add other instructors in the instructor role just because of coding in the back end, I was told. So faculty TA gives you the same permissions. It's just a different coding. Now, regarding D2L, I wanted to show you just two things that might make your life a little bit easier. How to view what needs grading in D2L. I don't know if any of you have had issues with the grade book, but it can be very big and overwhelming. And if you have more than 20 students, it can be hard to catch anything that's not graded. So I have a quick tip for that, and how to mass download student assignments in D2L. So let me show you that. Okay, so from your course home, you would go to Quick Eval, and that's going to show you anything that needs to still be graded. So you can view by submissions or activities, and I'm all caught up. So there's nothing listed there for me to grade, but it would be here if you still had ungraded tasks. Now, regarding the mass download of assignments, you would go to the Assignment tab, click on one of your assignments, click on the box here next to last name that would select everyone, and then click the download button. And it's going to download as a zip file, and once it's prepared, then you can download it and grade them that way. So that might be a little bit easier for you rather than going page by page through the gradebook. And then my last item here was adding students to your course. So students can always add your course before it reaches maximum capacity, but once it reaches that maximum capacity, they can't add your course unless they have an override code. So you might get emails from the student or advisors asking to add them. The advisor might be able to add them, but you cannot add a student until 1 week before the semester starts. So with our February 3rd start date, you can do that 1 week earlier, which would be January 27th. You can start to add students above maximum capacity. So some of our classes are capped at 15, at 20, at 25, but if you feel that you want to give, usually a student will reach out to you and ask to be added to your class. It should also allow them to add after if they're on the wait list. So again, you would need to go in and put a capacity override code in Banner. So the next slide I have here goes over those steps. So you'd log into Banner where you enter grades. On the left, you choose the term selection and registration override. So I'm just going to pop over here. For me, I always go to academics and enter grades to get into Banner. There might be a different way that you do that. But then you go to faculty services, you choose your term. So we're currently in this January spring 25 term. You go to registration overrides. And then again, it's already set up with a student here. So I would need to go to student menu and ID selection. And here's where you're going to choose the student. Now you can search by last name and first name or put in their student ID. And then we can go back and see the registration overrides here. So it's already for some reason set up with a student, but again, it's not yet a week before the term, but it would say instructor enrollment capacity override. And I would choose that and then choose my course that I want them to be added to and submit. Once you submit, you can scroll down and you'll be able to see the courses that they have been provided override codes for. But look, you can also see the student schedule. So this is a TK student and I can see what they're enrolled in. Okay, so I think that goes through all the steps, and if you run into any issues there, here again it was what it'll look like, instructor enrollment capacity override. All right, let's talk a little bit about key assessments and PLO assessments. So I will send a handout along with this video, and all the details are in Child Development Central, which Liz covered earlier, so I'll show you how to access that. Okay, so here are our PLO assessments. Again, we have 7 PLOs, so we have 7 assessments, and I listed what course they are required in and what related assignment. So again, if you are teaching any of those courses, please make sure to go to Child Development Central and get the information you need. So you have to provide the students with a Qualtrics link. That's a link for them to complete a survey. And once they're done with that survey, they can take a screenshot of the thank you page, or they can actually download the survey by clicking download PDF and uploading that to you as proof. So typically we offer them a few points to do that. And let's jump over to CD Central and see where this is located. Okay, so I'm back over here in my courses. I have pinned Child Development Central, and again, you can do that here in selecting for it to be pinned, so I can always find it. Now you can go here from the main page and you'll find key assessments and PLO assessments, or you can go through content and find it there as well. I'll go ahead and click on PLO assessments. Okay, and now I'm in participant view, so it should be similar to how you see it. So again, why we collect PLO assessments. Here are the individual links for each of the program learning outcome assessments. So for example, if you're teaching curriculum, you can click directly on that link. It should open for you, and you can see what the survey looks like for students. So it gives them an option to choose who their instructor is, course modality, if they're a child development major or minor, what their class standing is, how they started with Laverne, the campus that they attend, and if they ask you any questions, main campus is typically the one for all of them. Here's where they would drop their file. So again, they need to put the assignment here in the Qualtrics, and then they answer 3 questions. So what was the purpose of that assignment? They critique it and connect to the program learning outcome, and then talk about personal and professional goals. Again, if anything could have been included that would have enhanced their knowledge, and then any additional comments or feedback. Then they click next, and it gives them that confirmation page that they need to submit to you as proof of completing the survey. Okay, so back here in D2L, here again is the PLO assessment chart where you can find the connection to the PLO, NAEYC standards, BLO, which is Baccalaureate Learning Outcomes, Baccalaureate Goals, Core Competencies, and TPEs. Okay, and so if I click here on the PDF, here it is for you. And again, it includes both the key assessment and the PLO assessment, aligns with each of the program learning outcomes, provides details about our program learning outcomes, NAEYC standards, TPEs, baccalaureate goals, baccalaureate learning outcomes, and core competencies. And then what I've also provided in D2L is the assignment instructions and rubrics for each of the PLOs, a syllabus sample that you can look after to include in your syllabus, and a table sample. So here's a sample for PLO 2 assessment. So this is what I provide in my syllabus. I align with each of the areas that this assessment is assessing. I tell them what's happening. I provide the Qualtrics link, which assignment, and the 3 steps that they will do in their survey. So I provided that as a Word doc and a PDF for you. And then if we look at the other sample, it's just the table. So that last example was PLO 2. Here's a sample PLO 1. So again, you can download this table and then insert your information if you'd like to provide to students. All right, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so again, please make sure to collect this data in each of your courses. And again, you can choose the due date. There's no set due date for when the assessments need to be completed. They should just be completed in your term or semester. Key assessments. So we have 5 key assessments. Again, the data is going to be collected for this assessment in D2L Brightspace. The rubrics are embedded in the assignment submission link. So key assessment 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, here's the courses and the specific assignment. And this is what it'll look like when you grade the student. And I'm going to jump over and show you specifically. Okay, so I'm in my fall course. I found my key assessment 1, and I'll just show you. I'll go to like I was going to grade the student. So it'll pop up their assignment here on the left, and you can click directly on it and be able to view it here in D2L. And then here is the rubric. So you have to click on the arrow for it to come down, and then you're able to select a score for each area in that rubric. Once you do, it'll provide an overall score. And if the overall grade has decimal points, I just usually either round it up or round it down depending on what the circumstance is. And then you would click update, or I forget what the other button is, but that'll save it for the student, and then we'll be able to pull data directly here from D2L. Okay, so back to our PowerPoint here. Okay, I just wanted to review a little bit about TK, Transitional Kindergarten. We are aware of the education code for California, where they want everyone placed in a TK classroom who has a multiple subject credential to have TK experience or unit experience by August 1st of this year. So they can have 24 units of child development professional experience, but their local employing agency would need to look at that and approve it, or a child development teacher permit, which will be covered in our pathways, which was covered by Cindy. That's one of our pathways. And again, it's 24 units of child development. So because we realized that students needed 24 units, we came up with the Transitional Kindergarten Certificate Program. Here are the 6 courses that we offer, 4 units each. And in order for students to be enrolled, they have to already have a preliminary or clear multiple subject teaching credential. So they're admitted in our program, and then we offer these 6 courses and provide them with a certificate at the end of the coursework. Now, as the PK3 is coming out, which Cindy had mentioned earlier, we're probably going to transition away from our TK classes because, again, we want students to move towards the PK3 credential. But here are those requirements. Again, they need a bachelor's degree, subject matter competence, which is fulfilled by either having a degree in child development or completing at least 24 units of child development, pass the RECA, and go through a specialist program, which is what we're trying to have and offer here at Laverne. So what is being offered right now is that any student who comes through our TK program who has a multiple subject teaching credential and takes all 24 units of our TK program, they are able to do an add-on PK3 credential to their existing credential through the CCTC. So they've already done a teacher prep program. They fill out an application, pay a $100 fee, provide proof of completing those 24 units, which again, they do through our TK certificate program, and then they get an add-on credential. So again, there's many different thoughts about that, but that is the law right now and what they can do. And so we will be moving students towards completing the PK3 credential, the whole program, probably rather than offering TK, since that has timed out, right? Students really need it by August of this year. So we are slowing down on our TK program unless things change, but that's how it is right now. Okay, so lastly, I wanted to talk about APA and scaffolding. So we were going to do a little activity where we looked at some APA, but since we aren't together, I'll just kind of share the information with you. So one, I wanted you to look at the scaffolding handout we have regarding APA. And we mapped out where we're covering certain APA components in different courses. So please email me if you have any questions about any of the APA components. If there's been any areas of APA that you've not been covering, you want to make sure to start covering that in your course. And if there's any areas of APA that you have been covering and you want to add to this chart, please let me know. So here is that scaffolding handout. And again, I'll provide that with the handouts for this PowerPoint, but you can see some classes will just cover title page, in-text citations, and reference list. Some will also do citing photos or media. Some will cover heading levels. Some will cover citing interviews or lit reviews, or as you can see, senior project covers a lot of different areas. So again, if you're finding that you can't really cover a certain area in your course regarding the assignment, just reach out to me and we can talk about, again, how we might edit this form. Now, I'm still going to send you this sample paper, but we were going to have you review the papers, look at the APA errors, make note of errors on the title page. So covering the title page, body of the paper, and reference page. And then I was going to ask you how many total APA errors you found and what score you would give the student. So I will provide you with the blank sample as part of our handout, and I'll also provide you the one with my comments and corrections and how many APA errors I found. And then we were going to have you look at the area of the rubric where you grade the student, right? And so we tried to create this area so it was kind of easy to grade. 3 means they had 5 or less minor errors, and an exceptional 4 really means there's no errors throughout the page. So a developing is if they're missing one requirement, like if they're missing the title page, in-text citations, or reference list, and or have 10 or less minor errors. A beginning has 10 or more minor errors, or they're missing more than one required element, and they can get a 0 if APA format is not present. So again, look through the sample, see how you'd grade the sample, and reach out to me with any questions. Okay, and then course description and course learning objectives. Okay, so this is a 9-page document. It lists all of our courses and what the course learning objectives are and what would be basically covered in those courses. So I think we've spoken to a few of you saying, like, when is developmentally appropriate practice covered in other classes, or do they talk about this or that? So we just wanted to have that information readily available for you so you knew. And again, just to make sure that you're covering what's needed in your specific courses. So this goes through, it says which courses are CAP aligned, how many units they are, or semester hours, how they're graded. Some of them will say too if they have any prerequisites. So these have been removed from 453A. Here are some prerequisites for 453B. So it should have all of our courses and again, some descriptions and objectives that we're looking to have covered in each of those courses. So please reach out with any questions about those, but this is more informational just for you to have. And then my last slide here is just, again, what we're going to be providing with this video. So this actual training PowerPoint we'll have as a handout. I'll provide just a simple key and PLO assessment handout, the scaffolding chart, an APA sample paper, and the sample paper with corrections, and then the course descriptions and course learning objectives. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, we would much rather would have met in person. It just wasn't able to happen this time, but we appreciate all of you and all that you do. And again, we value your contribution to our program. So please, as always, reach out to any of us with any questions. We're here to support you, and we hope you have a great semester. Thanks.